Hello. Welcome. Another great edition on Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. I'm grateful to have you here. Consistently, I'm grateful to have you here. It's the first time Chelsea are going into the January transfer window, and almost every Chelsea fan seems to be calm. It's not funny because every Chelsea fan doesn't really worry, especially in on the back of the last 2-3 games that Chelsea have played. The game against Tottenham Hotspur, the game against Arsenal at some point in time, Manchester City most recently. Chelsea fans seems to be very, very much composed, given the fact that, hey, the team seems to be in good place, whether it's about scoring, whether it's about playing good football and whatnot. The team seems to be getting exactly where they want to get to. But really, there's a lot to talk about in the transfer window. I mean, every pundit in the world keeps on saying that Chelsea's team is just an attack away from properly competing for the title. And you look at the XG of Nicolas Jackson and how much he has underperformed his XG. You look at how our attackers aren't really getting there. The injury of Armando Broja, somebody who gives that presence in front of the 18-yard box and the stuff that he does for the team. If you don't see stuff like that, then you tend to get worried. So going into the January transfer window, it is arguably the most important part of the team that has to be enforced. That's the striking position. And a lot of names have come up. Victor Oshimen, Gorkas, of course, Ivan Toney's names have come up. But really, who do you choose? Are you choosing Armando Broja to stay? Because really, if Victor Oshimen is coming, it means Chelsea would have to be patient with Armando Broja. It may truncate Armando Broja's growth as a striker. Also, Victor Oshimen coming in is a brilliant striker. There are issues with his contract, there are issues with his health. I'll tell you about that in this analysis. And then, of course, you go and talk about strikers like Ivan Toney, who Brentford are earmarking somewhere around 50 million for him. Who do you want? I mean, that's the thing. So, yeah, guys, there's another kid on the block. Brilliant player. They say he's a hybrid of an on-the-ball monster and an off-the-ball monster. So, say somebody like a Declan Rice and Enzo Fernandez put together in one player. He is in Corinthians in Brazil. I'll tell you about him. He's just 17 years of age. He is part of the young youth of grabbable players like Ousmane Diamonde and the likes that Chelsea wants to go ahead and get. This guy is very high up on the radar for Chelsea. My name is Fiifi-Manfred. This is Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Thank you very much for choosing me on YouTube. I'll be back with you with all the juice. Stay. Yeah, so I've consistently said that the Chelsea project essentially it's about stockpiling on the best young talent in the world, putting them together, giving them an enabling environment for them to thrive in. And when they do, Chelsea essentially in the next 2-3 years wouldn't have to go to the market to buy players for 100 million, 120 million. And this is some of the things that you get if equity people or business brokers, deep-seated business people who are into the equity market own a club. So Todd Bowley, Baghdad, Bali, these are guys who own equity companies, and this is what they do for a living. So essentially, they're just investing and knowing that in future it's going to reap. On paper, it sounds very, very much obnoxious and a little bit stupid, because why do you buy players that cannot get to trophies now? These are just young players. What if they get injured? What if they don't get to the potential that you expect them to get to? But these are people who have a proven track record in terms of the growth of whatever that is failing, any other asset that is failing. They know exactly how to grow it to make it better, and they want to take a huge gamble on this one. And I think that as it stands now, things are going essentially according to plan. Now, Chelsea are going into January, and Chelsea are not wondering about who to get, because you look at the team, you look at midfield, you look at defense, you look at attack. You're like, okay, fine. Where do you have to strengthen? I think Chelsea has one of the best depth in centre backs in the English Premier League. So you look at, for me, and I know this may be controversial, the Chelsea player with the highest ceiling between our defense and our midfield is Wesley Fofana. For me, the best ball carrier in our defense. And sometimes in games like that, I used to see Levi Cole as a brilliant ball carrier when he was younger, when he had not gone to play under Roberto De Zerbi at Brighton. But after he had gone to play under Roberto De Zerbi, somebody who essentially doesn't want his centre-backs to be carrying the ball, he wants you to manipulate the space and find passing options. That's what Roberto De Zerbi desires of his centre-backs. But if you look at somebody like Wesley Fofana, he has honed the craft of being an excellent ball carrier. So he does a very good job at ball carrying at Chelsea Football Club. And I think that when he returns, you look at himself, Axel Disasi, Thiago Silva, he's yet to go. I mean, yes, there are conversations that maybe he may be leaving. But still, he's there. 3 of our right-footed centre backs. I'm not talking about Trevor Chalobah, because I think that in January he's going to depart the club. Then you look at the left-hand side, Benoit Belashile, Levi Kowal in there on the left-hand side. In terms of quality, this is the five of the solid quality that you can get. There is Bashir Humphreys also in the squad in there. Left back, full back. I think that Chelsea are sorted in there. In future, it means that Georgi Petrovic and Gaga Slonina are the 2 goalkeepers. Robert Sanchez essentially is going to go out of this team, in my opinion. I think that he doesn't have a long-term future in the team. I think it's a short-term stopgap to something that's supposed to happen. I'm itching to see what Georgi Petrovic will bring to the team, because I know he's an excellent shot stopper. I want to see what he gives the team in terms of his ball playing ability and how much of a cross claimer he is in the box and a domineering goalkeeper he is. That's just what I'm waiting to see. But yeah, that's it. You go into the middle of the park, Leslie Guchuku, Kani Chukwuemeka. You look at boys like Conor Gallagher, Enzo Fernandez, Moises Caicedo. Then you go in and see some players are even yet to come in. And that's what I'm going to tell you about, a 17-year-old Brazilian who is essentially the next player. And he's going to walk straight into that Chelsea midfield. There's Cesare Casadre, there's Andre Santos, who both are on loan. Cesare Casadre's loan is going exceptionally according to plan. That is why he was sticking there. But for Andre Santos, he's not getting minutes at Nottingham Forest. There are reports that Chelsea are going to call him back for him to come back to Cobham in January. Then they find a loan for him abroad, Spain, wherever. A place where he can play a lot of football, maybe also in the Championship, possibly for him. So yeah, it looks as if Chelsea have stockpiled. But the bigger problem, if you look at 1v1, Chelsea have very good 1v1 threat in Oni Madueke. There's also that in Mihailo Modric. There's Raheem Sterling. 1v1 outside creativity. You can get that in Cole Palmer behind the striker in Kunku. Of course, you can get Kani Chukwuemeka playing also as a number 10 in there for you. Then the striking. The bigger problem at Chelsea is converting those XG. And I think that it's simple. It's simple. Chelsea do not need an outlet. Armando Broja is an outlet. Sterling is an outlet. Jackson is an outlet. Any of them, when you keep them, you have essentially an outlet to deal with. If you want to play out from the back, you want somebody to hold that play for you. Jackson, the ball sticks to him. He is that kind of player. Now, you see these things and you're like, okay, whoa, great. These are 2 top players that can do the job in that regard. But the bigger problem is Armando Broja's injury, and you are not certain that he is going to be fit to play on next season, next 2 seasons. So do you pass on an attacker that can give you the goals now and that can truncate his future? That's the bigger question at Chelsea Football Club. That is the headache for Winston Lee and everybody that's in charge of technical stuff and the recruitment. Because how do you deal with this? Are you dealing with this in a way that you want to wait for Armando Broja to thrive? Or you are dealing with it in a way that you want successes now and then you want Victor Oshimen, Ivan Toney, or Gyökeres? But first of all, Victor Oshimen, by way of update, has still not signed an extended contract extension with Aurelio De Laurentiis in Napoli. So it means that it's clear that in the summer of 2024, there's likely that Victor Oshimen is going to leave Naples and go somewhere else. What are the possible options for him? Manchester United already have Rasmus Hojlund. I don't think that they are going to want to have him. For Liverpool, they have attackers, strikers in Darwin Nunez, and the attack seems to be scoring from all cylinders. I don't know if they would want an out-and-out striker. It looks as if Chelsea is one of those viable options for him. And then, of course, Arsenal. Arsenal do need a killer. So if he's not extending his contract, it seems like Chelsea and Arsenal may want to look at Victor Osimhen. Victor Osimhen, of course, has said that he is a boyhood Chelsea fan. He grew up watching Chelsea, watched Didier Drogba. In the Obi-Wan podcast with John Mikel Obi, former Chelsea player, he had said several times that he would try and broker the deal to get Victor Osimhen to play at Chelsea in London. And that's a big thing, however. He talks about the fact that he has the aura of Didier Drogba, the confidence of Didier Drogba. And yes, of course, for me, there isn't any better menacing striker who is proven in the world, African, than Victor Osimhen. So proven, so menacing. And I keep on saying this. This is a player I have watched for the Nigerian Green Super Eagles in Kumasi. He's so menacing. Winning balls, going into duels, aerial and ground duels, getting in behind. I think with how Chelsea play, essentially, it is honed in exploitation of spaces. So if you have an attacker that can get in behind consistently for you, then Victor Osimhen is your guy. Then you don't want to waste time on somebody who has had issues with, say he plays in English Premier League. No, those things are not important. This is a guy who is not going to be fast or faced by anything that comes across him in the English Premier League. My bigger problem, however, with Victor Osimhen is his injury record. Now, I chanced on Victor's injury record a couple of days ago. I'm like, whoa. Also, it's the fact that it's actually a muscle injury. It's a muscle problem. Muscle problems are difficult to deal with. They go and they come, they go and they come. And if you have someone like Armando Broja, who already is injured and is recovering, you don't know how good his recovery is going to be in the long term. And you are going to bring in another player who essentially also is going to get injured for one thing or the other with his muscles. That's going to be recurring. Look at Reece James. It's a muscle problem. And it keeps on recurring. Now, you do not want a player whose injury will be recurring, especially to come and solve an integral part of your game. Because that's the downside of Chelsea's football, the goals. So if your attacker is going to come in and he's also going to have issues with those things, then that is a headache. That is a big headache. And those are things that, for me, will be a little bit worrying with Victor Osimhen. In terms of ability, he's the guy. He is the guy. He's the go-to guy. Now, apart from Victor Osimhen in the striking force, there's also a boy called Gabriel Mascardo. See, I've read his scout reports. Corinthians actually put out a scout report. I read it. I have seen the short videos. I have seen that he has been called for the Brazilian under-23 team. I have watched him. The boy is the truth. The boy is the truth. Gabriel Mascardo is everything that you need in a midfielder. He wins the ball so easily. Yet he's come. There was one time where I watched a video of him playing for Corinthians, and then Corinthians were down. They needed a winner. He won the ball easily, fairly, but very aggressive. Very aggressive ground duel, but very fairly. Carried the ball forward, where the composer found the last pass, and the Corinthians were up. And you see, he looks like a Soviet warlord. You know how they look, and they have this bowed head, they have this form of shave where there is no shape in front of their head. They just bowed everything, like they are bowed, but they are not bowed. There's some hair on it, and he looks so pale and white, lanky, 17 years of age, plays for Corinthians. He's a Brazilian, Gabriel Mascardo, good on and off the ball. They say he's a hybrid or someone like a Declan Rice and an Enzo Fernandez. He is next level Declan Rice, in my opinion. And he looks like somebody who is mentally so tough going forward. Chelsea are discussing this boy, 25 million. There is a possibility that he's going to join Chelsea. Other clubs are also lacking. Arsenal and the likes are lacking. People believe that he's the truth. He's the next level. He's the next big thing in terms of the central midfield area. And a lot of teams would want to look at him, and Chelsea inclusive are looking at him. In fact, Chelsea are far advanced in getting Gabriel Mascardo done at Chelsea Football Club. So yeah, in January, we are not so much phased, but the bigger question is, what do you do with Victor Osimhen? Can Osimhen come? I don't think the deal can be done in January. It is not possible for Osimhen to join Chelsea in January. But in the summer, Chelsea would have extra time to look at his medical report and then make a proper assessment. If really he is a man to come in and get a job done, or he's just going to join a tall list of players on the sickbed. My name is Fiifi-Manfred. I'm grateful to have had you here. Grateful to have seen you. Thank you very much for patronizing this channel. I would love to hear from you. If not subscribed, you should subscribe to the channel and turn on notification. I'll see you in a